Good afternoon, everyone. It's March 13th, 2019. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing very well. I'm here at naturalnews.com. Think the government doesn't spray citizens with chemicals and pathogens? Evidence released proves they already have. This is from J.D. Hayes. It's an older article, but it is worth going over again, rather. And I have a couple more that I'm going to go ahead and hit right along with this one. So it may end up being a longer video. Maybe I won't have to record a fourth one today. Then again, maybe I will. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there who thinks, the government can do no wrong, and there's no fucking way in hell they would ever do things like gas their own citizens and do mass executions and test diseases and this kind of thing on us. But nothing can be further from the truth. And it is one of the oldest conspiracy theories, or conspiracies. Your government is conducting a wide range of experimental research on various populations without their knowledge, much less consent. Research that has come with consequences to health and well-being. For its part, Natural News has regularly reported on the phenomenon known as chemtrails, lingering cloudy streaks left in the wake of some aircraft that are replete with heavy metals, heavy metal toxins like aluminum, barium, and strontium. And remember, somebody did a test on what fell to the ground after they chemtrailed, and among those chemicals, aluminum, barium, and strontium, were also dried blood cells. Now, a lot of people wonder, what the fuck could they be putting dried blood cells in chemtrails for? And the answer to that is, it is a vehicle for disease. You put the disease strain into the blood cell. The blood cells fall from the sky. People inhale those blood cells and get whatever disease those cells happen to be carrying. That's why. Many dismiss chemtrails as being absurd, despite some regional testing by independent labs and other government-sponsored initiatives, such as the Air Force's 1990s initiative to control the weather via modification by 2025, which could be accomplished by cloud seeding, which is already a commercial venture. Whether you believe a new report reveals that the U.S. government actually has conducted biological and chemical experimentation on some of its citizens. And of course, there is no accountability when people fucking get sick. As reported by Sputnik News, the experimentation was led by the U.S. military shortly after World War II. Just a few short years after America signed the Nuremberg Code, the U.S. military conducted a secret bioweapon experiment on the city of San Francisco without the knowledge of the people. The entire city was infected and one person died. But this wasn't the only instance. There were at least 239 documented cases. And that's just the ones we know about. The report noted that in San Francisco, circa 1950, the U.S. Army released a type of bioweapon fog that rolled in from San Francisco Bay. As reported by the San Francisco Chronicle in October of 2004, the Army conducted a secret test involving Serratia, a bacterium that was not at the time believed to cause disease. The science of the day was wrong. As the paper further reported, the Army used Serratia to test whether enemy agents could launch a biological warfare attack on a port city such as San Francisco from a location miles offshore. For 6 days in late September of 1950, a small military vessel near San Francisco sprayed a huge cloud of Serratia particles into the air while the weather favored dispersal. Then the Army went looking to find out whether it landed. This bacteria is known for forming bright red colonies when a soil or water sample is streaked on a culture medium, a property that made it ideal for the biowarfare experiment. And God only knows what else they're doing. Shit, they don't even bother with testing anymore, testing anything. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Follow-up testing by Army researchers showed that the bacterium cloud exposed hundreds of thousands of people along a broad swath of Bay Area communities like Albany, Berkeley, Oakland, and of course San Francisco, according to documents that were eventually declassified. Now, how can you call them conspiracy theories when they're documented in government documents and it was once classified? Just saying. History of death and disease. In the days and weeks after the spraying, 11 people came down with infections that were exceedingly difficult to treat at the old Stanford University Hospital in San Fran. By November, one of those patients had died, recovering from a prostate operation. Edward Nevin, 75, a retired Pacific Gas and Electric Company worker, succumbed to Serratia that attacked his heart valves. Not knowing what was going on, the outbreak was so unusual that some Stanford doctors wrote it up for publication in medical journals. Again, God only knows what they're doing to us now. And they're not even bothering to test new products like GMO salmon before they are approved by the FDA. FDA approves controversial GMO salmon for import. This is Max Lovell, SHTFplan.com. I like some salmon, man. I really do. But you can't trust anything anymore, can you? The United States Food and Drug Administration has decided that their previous ban on genetically modified salmon can be lifted. In 2016, Congress said that the salmon could not be sold in the United States until the FDA finalized labeling guidelines to inform consumers the product was genetically engineered. That's when the FDA implemented the import alert. But all that has changed now. In 2015, the FDA deemed the Aqua Advantage salmon safe, marking the first U.S. approval of a genetically engineered animal intended for food. But the 2016 import alert prevented the salmon from being sold in the U.S. until now. According to CNN, Congress passed a law directing the U.S. Department of Agriculture to set a national mandatory standard for disclosing bioengineered foods. That standard was issued last December. FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb said because of the 2016 law and the USDA's new standard, the FDA no longer has the authority to issue labeling guidance, CNN reported. However, the FDA believes this congressional mandate has been satisfied by the USDA's issuance of final regulations implementing that law in late 2018 because the law and regulations require that human food containing genetically engineered salmon bear labeling indicating that it is bioengineered, Gottlieb said in a statement. This will allow for the importation of genetically modified salmon eggs into the U.S. to be raised for human consumption. Now, they don't do tests to find out what happens to people. And if they do tests and the data outcome is negative, well, they just fudge the numbers and manipulate the reports in their favor so they can't lose, right? And this is an example right here of, they do not fucking give a shit about you. This is an example. They want you dead. They did not think twice about spraying these people with this bacteria. But they love you, right? They're there to protect you and keep you safe from all the evils in the world. Every fucking evil except for them. And anytime somebody with a high amount of credibility comes out and tries to blow the whistle, something happens to them. And it's never good. Scientists jailed after discovering deadly viruses are delivered through vaccines. This is on explainlife.com. I'm not going to cover this one in full. I just wanted to make the point that anytime anybody with any credibility comes out such as this lady, and blows the whistle on wrongdoing by any of the government agencies or big pharma or any of the military-industrial complex, they either end up dead or something very, very terrible happens to them. And Dr. Judy A. Mikovits was no exception to this. So she's a molecular biologist. Dr. Judy A. Mikovits was thrown in jail after discovering evidence that deadly retroviruses are transmitted through vaccines given to humans. So, now, this is again more proof that they want you dead. This is more proof that they do not give a shit about you. This is more proof you are under attack. This is more proof that they see you as an enemy. In a disturbing true story, first published by Natural News, Dr. Mikovits, or Vitz, found evidence that deadly retroviruses have been transmitted to 25 million Americans through vaccines. Dr. Mikovits worked with human retroviruses and focused on immunotherapy research and HIV. In 2009, she was doing research on neurological diseases, including autism, when she discovered that many of her study subjects were suffering from serious medical issues. These issues included cancer, motor neuron disorders, and chronic fatigue syndrome. CollectiveEvolution.com reports she believed a virus may have been responsible for these symptoms, and through her research, she isolated the viruses, not just one, viruses, plural, that turned out to come from mice. End quotes. It looked like a virus. It smelled like a virus, a retrovirus, because those are the types of viruses that disrupt the immune system. And several other investigators back in the 90s had actually isolated retroviruses from these people, but the government called them contaminants. That they weren't real, that they didn't have anything to do with the disease. Well, we isolated a new family of viruses that were called xenotropic marine leukemia virus related virus. So these viruses were murine leukemia viruses, mouse viruses. End quotes again. So spin forward 2 years, our paper published in one of the best scientific journals in the world in Science, October 8th, 2009. Usually that makes one's career. In my case, it ended my life as a scientist as I knew it. And I talked about this woman before. She actually did go to jail. So, anyone who says these are conspiracy theories they're either incredibly stupid, they're shills, or they're acting in a malicious way along with or in conjunction with the powers that be, or something like that. Because what other reason would they have for dropping red blood cells on, along with aluminum, strontium, barium, and so on and so forth? What other reason would they have to do that? What other reason would they have to include retroviruses in vaccines? Why would police be let off nearly every time they murder somebody? Because they want you dead. And all these things are simply doing their jobs. The police, they're simply doing their jobs. This is what they're supposed to be doing. They are supposed to be killing you. The retroviruses in the vaccines. The vaccines are doing their jobs. They're supposed to be killing you. Those who want to mandate these vaccines, they're doing their jobs. They want to kill you. So you tell me, what should be done to people who have openly called you an enemy, who clearly attacks you through biological warfare, through chemical warfare, through the food, through the water, through the air? What do you do? Now, if you agree with me, if you think I made a good point or points in this video, if you deem me worthy, please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, right? And if I'm well worthy of your spare dollars, my PayPal link is down below. I hope everyone has a good day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.